right, a very good morning to you, and you're welcome to the Kunle Amzat studio right here at Akidigo 88.7 FM Ibadan. My name is Wuraola Yusuf, and of course, this is your ultimate newspaper review show, The Dailies. This is where we get to talk about our great nation, the happenings, what is going on, especially concerning our leaders, the decisions they are making for us. What is it all about, and how do they affect and concern us? Or maybe even these things, we do not understand them better. That is why we have Maestro in the studio with his unbiased analysis and also the in-depth explanation on how these things they can or they are already affecting us as citizens of this great nation, whether you're in Nigeria or you're outside Nigeria. My name is Burala Yusuf once again, and I'll be starting as usual from reading the headlines on the front pages of our daily newspapers. Starting from the Nation newspaper this morning, where we have the story, the big one, that says federal government, Labour, OPS, okay, 70,000 naira as a minimum wage. So right after that story, it says, bill says for transmission to National Assembly. And another one says, workers get 36 high-capacity CNG buses. Still on the issue of the minimum wage, on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning, National Assembly gets a bill Tuesday as Tinubu, Labour agree on 70,000 naira. So right after that story, one says federal government says minimum wage for review every 3 years. Labour leaders justify new salary. Another writer to that says the president directs payment of NASU SANU's withheld salaries. OPS rejects electricity tariff. Moving on to the Guardian newspaper this morning, where we also have the issue of the minimum wage. Labour agrees to 70,000 naira as lawmakers slash pay for 6 months. All right, let's move on to another story. Back to the front page of the Nation newspaper. On page 5, we have this one coming from Reno Omokre saying Nigeria's economy on growth path. All right then, CBN resumes forex sales to BDCs. The writer to that story says APCON hails a sale of $20,000 per licensee. On page 5 still, work to begin on Abeokuta or Road, says Ogun government. Page 5. On page 6, reps donate 1.08 billion naira to buy food for Nigerians. Lawmakers cut pay by 50%. Right then, on page 5, we have the story saying Okpebolo hospitalized after attack in Benin. The writer to that one says a police aide killed. On page 4, how to fire up patriotic zeal in Nigerians by Uzodema. And of course, I would not make it seem as if I didn't see the picture of the Labour Union leaders and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu with a smile on the face after the meeting yesterday. Yes, that picture is there. Moving on to the front page of the Punch newspaper. I can see that picture again in a clearer view. The Labour unions with the president after the meeting yesterday where they agreed on 70,000 naira as a minimum wage. Finally, on page 19, federal government continues fuel importation as reps probe IOCs. Page 19. On page 12, reps plead against anti-government protest, accept 50% salary cut. Page 12. On page 27, CBN resumes BDC dollar sales. Naira weakens to 1,570 naira per dollar. On page 22, customs intercept 3.6 billion naira bulletproof jacket drugs in Ogun. Erufai alleges Bias seeks case transfer on the issue of the 423 billion naira probe against him. The details of that story is on page 13 of the Punch newspaper today. APC knocks PDP governors. Military mobilizes against mass protest. That is on page 13. of the Punch newspaper. Right now, on page 415 of the Punch newspaper, there's this sad story there which says a Uniloran student dies, others injured in campus crash. Quite sad. Right now, let us move on to the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Dangote refinery yet to be licensed. Operations are not scuttled, says NMDPRA. Reps back demotion as Atiku. CUPP others a fault attack on democracy. That one is on the issue of Intume. Afeba Balola urges federal government to close down mushroom substandard varsities. Others. That story is on page 28 of the Guardian newspaper today. Reps in rowdy session over alleged link of opposition to planned protest. Page 3 of the Guardian newspaper has the details to that story. On the front page of the Nigerian Tribune today, JAMB approves a 140 as cut-off mark for universities, 100 for colleges, polytechnics. Page 2. The writer to that story says federal government case 16 years as entry age into tertiary institutions after uproar by stakeholders. CBN resumes dollar sales to BDCs at 1,450 naira per dollar. Page 6 has the details to that story. Over 100 psychiatric doctors left Nigeria in 1 year. That is coming from the association. On the issue of food sufficiency, the Southern Governors Forum to promote regional trade. That one is coming from Governor Dakwa Abiodun on page 24. On the issue of Indume's suspension, the National Assembly is becoming a enabler of executive recklessness. That statement is coming from Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. On page 24, bill for local government independent electoral commission lands in Senate. What does the new bill says? As northern senators shoot down South-South Development Commission bill. The details to that story is on page 24. And also, you can get that on page 12 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Reps reduce salary by 50% for 6 months over hardship in the land. That story is on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Of course, I have a maestro in the studio this morning to help us with the analysis and explanation of the stories, how they affect and concern us. Good morning, maestro. You're welcome to the studio.
Good morning. Pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a great week, right?
It has been. So many things happened in the course of the week. Some of them are pleasant, some of them not so pleasant. But of course,
that is life.
The key thing about our economy is still there, and we have to crack that.
All right. Before we talk about the new minimum wage that has been settled right now, let us talk about the protest, the issue of the protest that was just coming into the news. This one on page 13 of the Punch newspaper says APC knocks PDP governors, military mobilizes against mass protests. This is coming as the belief that the opposition party PDP is somewhat mobilizing or triggering people to go on this mass protest. Is this right? As an opposition party, yes, you're supposed to be serving as a watchdog for those in government. But regarding what is currently happening in the country also.
Yes, in some countries, you will see the opposition championing the cause of the people. And it will be right. And the people themselves will be seeking champions in opposition to organize them so that they could have effective protests and so on. But it is not tenable in Nigeria that opposition should instigate protests or champion protests. It's not tenable.
Why not?
Okay. If you relax a little bit, I'll tell you. The reason it is not tenable is that it's like washing dirt with more dirt. When you want to wash dirt, you use soap.
Yes.
So if you are not using soap, you go find some more dirt to wash dirt. What you get is more dirt. Because when you're talking about corruption in this country, what portion of the political class could you actually exonerate, absolve? So you cannot be coming from a pool of corruption just because your time in power is over and you want to seek re-entrance into power. Therefore, you become an emergency activist and expect me to line up behind you. I will not. So that is why it is not, in most parts of Africa, is the same thing. But where you have people who necessarily, we are not saying are not corrupt, but who have not been in government before, you understand? They've not been in government before, whether at the state level as governors or at the executive arm or as legislators and so on. Then people tend to accept such leadership because they are not seriously tainted. And that is why it is not tenable. I mean, it will be a comedy for me to be lining up behind, for instance, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar to say I want to protest behind him, or Mr. Peter Obi. So, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Because they're opposition parties.
But if Eshowore says, okay, let's go out, let's go and, do this, okay, that's tenable.
He's known for that.
It's tenable. It's not because he's known for that. It's not because he's not without his own blemishes.
Then why?
But because he hasn't been a governor before, he hasn't been a senator, he has not been a president, he hasn't been any of these things before. So I cannot accuse him of having stolen funds from me.
I get that now.
At any point in time. So it's not because we are perfect. It's not because of our perfection. That's why we are acceptable in leadership, within that context. It's because, well, I cannot accuse you of having done one of the things that these people are doing every day. And that's why I say it's not tenable. Then again, though, it's the role of the opposition to also capitalize on anything that it finds beneficial against you.
Against the seating government.
That is how they play the game of opposition. Let me give you an instance. I can't quote him verbatim, but I'll give you a paraphrase. There was a time that the APC was, throwing every lie in the book and outside of it against the Jonathan administration. And then some journalists went up to Malam Nasir El-Rufai that time, and asked him, why are you guys... He said, even if the government is doing something right, it is the duty and job of the opposition to say that thing is wrong.
To find a fault in it.
To say it is wrong. He said it directly. And I said, okay, that's the game. So we don't forget these things. We put it into defining them. That is why this program is different. We don't talk like roadside analysts. We talk from the back, from the current time, and we are visionary. We look into the future. That's why it's different from Gbasgbos every day, whatever you do on the social media. So you separate that, the leadership of a protest as organized by the opposition. That's a different ballgame. I recognize that. I leave it with them to do whatever they want to do with one another. As it concerns me, that is where I begin to ask questions. And my questions, I have even listed them here before. Who are you? Who is that person saying, let's go and protest? I need to know you. And I'm not going to know you by simply, checking you out on the social media and saying, okay, this guy that is in Canada or in Finland is asking me
not in Nigeria
to come and protest. That's one. Two, I need to understand what we are going to protest over. What is our goal? That's number two. Number three, how are we going to go about it? am I going to leave Oyo State and go to the eastern flank, somewhere in Anambra, to express my mind there? Or I'm going to do it right where I am in Oyo State,
starting from home,
where I belong? Because somebody might ask me, if I go to Anambra State to begin to do that, what's your business? We are the ones here, we are saying it's fine. So what's your business? So I'm more sure-footed where I belong. That's number 3. Then how do we close the game? There has to be closure, because you cannot begin to protest in perpetuity. So there has to be end game. What's the end game? So if I get, solid or even fair answers to all these things, then I'm good to go. But because I'm not saying there shouldn't be protests, because some people, they don't get it. Protest is a right. The right of a human being to protest is guaranteed inside his humanity. It's not even given.
It is there.
And that's what Fela was saying. You can't give me human rights. Do you know that song? Okay, don't worry. I'll send it to you. I'll find and send it to you.
Okay, I'll be glad.
It's just you might even enjoy it.
I somehow do enjoy Fela's songs.
Yeah, so the man gave them human rights, and he was calling them animals. How animals go say they won't give me human rights and so on. So it is intrinsic. It is there. We come with it. That is settled. But when I decide to use that right, or when I decide not to use it, that is my business to say I want to use it or I don't want to use it.
I want to protest.
It's not the business of anybody to force me by any means that I should protest, that I must protest. I must not protest. I could if I want to.
Okay. Still talking on the issue of the hardship that is bringing out all this. Okay, let us go for protest because the country is hard. We have some angles to touch right now, as we have the reps yesterday saying we are going to be sacrificing our salary, half of our salary, for the next 6 months. From our 600,000 naira monthly salaries, we are going to give you half, 300,000 naira per legislator, and that will be for 6 months. And also, there is another one saying they are going to donate 1.08 billion naira to buy food for Nigerians. So let's go pay some bills. We're back, we'll touch upon that.
88.7 FM. ilé ìtajà fóònù kan bẹ́ẹ̀ bàdàn Ishola gadget ní jẹ́. ọmọ tán sọ tán tọrọ bá di kàtà ojúlówó àwọn ẹ̀rọ ìpè ìfọ́nìbàárà ẹni láì ní mọ̀kàrúrù kankan nú. àwọn tó ti já sí tẹ́lẹ̀ òní bòmíì tí wọ́n ti ra ẹ̀rọ fóònù ojú Ishola gadget lọ. ṣé ojúlówó fóònù tí wọ́n ń tà ní kásọ ni àbí tẹ̀rítọ̀ yàyà táwọn òṣìṣẹ́ wọn fi ń dóní bàárà lóhùn. tó ń ta àwọn ẹ̀bùn àmúrelé lẹ́yìn tó bá ra fóònù tán. pẹ̀lú èrè discount rẹpẹtẹ lórí ọjà tó bá rà tó ń ta àǹfààní ìsan díẹ̀díẹ̀ tí ò lẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́. Ishola gadget káàkiri ilé ìtajà wọn ló ti lè rí àwọn fóònù tó bá gbà mú bíi Samsung, iPhone, Tecno, Itel, Infinix, Oppo pẹ̀lú phone accessories lówó tí ò gúnpá. àǹtí bọ̀dá sìstá bàbá màmá ó yá wá lọ rèé mú fóònù tìrẹ ní Ishola gadget tó wà lẹ́yìn Lagos Ìkòròdú garage Àbáyọ̀mí road Ìbàdàn. Ishola gadget tún wà ní Ọmọlá plaza Bàbá Onílù bus stop Ìwó road Ìbàdàn. ẹ̀lọ́ wọn 07068989929. Ishola gadget nìkan ló ti lè ra fóònù tó bá gbà mú pẹ̀lú ìrọ̀rùn.
gẹ́gẹ́ bí aláboyún ó ṣe pàtàkì kí n tọ́jú ara mi kí n sì wà ní ìlera pípé.
kí ìwọ àtoyún inú ẹ lè wà ní ìlera tó péye, máa lo oògùn ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó ní áyọ̀nù nínú àti folic acid lójoojúmọ́ lákòókò tó bá lóyún. eléyìí ń dènà àìtó ẹ̀jẹ̀ nínú oyún yóò sì jẹ́ kóyún wà lálàáfíà. fún ìlera pípé ẹ máa yọjú sí àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ elétò ìlera yín fún ìtọ́jú oyún nígbà tó yẹ.
ìkéde yìí wá láti àkànṣeṣẹ́ irin iléeṣẹ́ tó ń mójútó ètò ìlera ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́.
ṣiṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀
tàbí umura iléeṣẹ́ Algaza.
bọ́dún ṣe ń gorí ọdún là ń dúpẹ́ iléeṣẹ́ alálàájì Algaza travels and tours alhamdulilayi kẹsíra ọpẹ́ olórí àdáàdá tán o fọba tó tún fi ṣe àjọ ọdún yìí pọ́n wálé iṣẹ́ hajj ti wá yàtọ̀ sí ti tẹ́lẹ̀ ó kò sùn méjì tá a lọ ṣiṣẹ́ hajj níjọba alẹ́ Saudi ti fẹ́ kéèyàn ò ní fi sẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ó ti mọ ibi tí ó gbé kí gbogbo ètò sì ti tò fún gbogbo àwa tá ń jẹ ẹ̀ràn kan láti ṣe hajj táwọn wò lọ́ọ̀kan ìtọ́dún 2025 ẹ̀yin náà tètè tara ṣàṣà kẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ bọ̀ sílé iṣẹ́ alálàájì Algaza travels and tours èèyàn dọ́ta àkọ́kọ́ 50 tó bá wá sílé iṣẹ́ alálàájì Algaza travels and tours láti forúkọ sílẹ̀ fúnṣẹ́ àjọ̀dún 2025 owó wọn á dín sí àwọn yòókù ṣètọ́jú àwọn èèyàn wa ní ká sọ ni àbílẹ̀ tí ń gbé ní Madina àti Mẹ́kà tí ò jìnnà rárá síbi tí wọ́n ti ṣiṣẹ́ owó wa ló kéré jù a wà nílé gbàgàdàgbàgàdà tó wà lórí títì tá a pè ní Algaza building lákọ̀ọ́kà bus stop nítòsí ọlọ́ọ̀gùn bus stop Old Ife road nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn 07032128882 07032128882.
Own a slice of a bank. Own a slice of a bank.
Subscribe for share with Fidelity Bank.
9.75 kobo.
Almost shareholders partake in this offer.
9.25 kobo. No lele.
Buy now, partake in this offer.
Join us, let's journey together.
No sleep on top this matter.
You know that we keep our word. Fidelity Bank public offer. Let's make the move together. Come join our community. Own a slice of a bank. Yeah. Fidelity Bank public offer. Invest and plan your life, yeah. Come join our community. Own a slice of a bank. Yeah.
To subscribe, visit any registered stockbroker or any of the issuing houses to the offer or any Fidelity Bank branch. Offer lasts till July 29th, 2024. We are Fidelity. We keep our word.
My son, help me check this phone. I no know wetin Junior press. E no dey work again.
Make I see. Ah, mommy.
Wetin happen?
They don't block your line now.
Nobody like to chop blocking o. So if they don't block you unto say you no link your NIN to your Airtel line, run kitikiti go any Airtel shop with your NIN to unblock your line today.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Guys, let's go and get seats at that table with Semovita.
Sorry, this table is reserved for the bride's family.
Do you know who I am? I'm the older brother of the sister's last uncle who married their first cousin.
Everybody wants a seat at the Golden Penny Semovita table. Golden Penny Semovita remains my soup's first choice. It's made from premium wheat and fortified with vitamins and minerals to provide a wholesome bowl food that pairs well with Nigerian soups. Golden Penny Semovita, my soup's first choice.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
All right, you're welcome back. This is still the dailies. In case you're just joining us, you can go straight to our Facebook page at Akidibo 88.7 FM, where you get to watch us live as you're listening to us. Yes, and Maestro, as I was saying before we went on that break, lawmakers, they have agreed to slash their pay, which is 600,000 naira monthly. Now they are going to give 50% of their salary to support, hunger-beaten Nigerians, just so to ameliorate the issue of hunger that we say is in the land.
All right, before I attend to that presently, let me also tell our listeners that I'm live on TikTok and you can also follow me there. So we can continue the conversation later on. That's on _maestro. _maestro. Okay.
Yes, we're there.
So, Ura, it's a good gesture. It's kind.
Okay.
We appreciate.
Okay.
And we thank them so much for it.
For 6 months.
Yes. But again, it's like dropping a spoon in the ocean. They, most of all, must understand that this is a country of 200 million plus human beings. In the National Assembly, we know they take a lot of money home, but they are under 500 altogether. Therefore, these figures that we are hearing in their kind gesture is really, really like nothing. It does not even begin to touch the problem that we have.
But to do something at least.
We are not ungrateful. We have thanked them. But look, they have to legislate. The truth is that those people who are asking have never asked anybody to cut their salaries.
People have been saying it.
It's because they don't understand the issues. You know, I understand the person who says you're earning too much. It's obscene. And all of you must slash your salaries, not to do philanthropy.
Okay. Not to make it seem as if you are doing us a favor.
Those are two different things. If I'm saying that you're not offering me any kind of service to warrant the kind of money you're taking home, that's different. But what people cut your salaries and give it to this, give it to that, I don't understand that. Because I know it's way too small at the end of the day to make any kind of difference.
Not supposed to talk about the fact it's for just 6 months.
When the leadership is taking the kind of money that it should take, then down the line, you could streamline all the way down. Don't forget that all through this NLC discussion, strike and so on, many people kept saying, look at what you are taking. And you are asking us to take this paltry.
Exactly.
But if you were initially taking the right kind of money home, that reason would not have been, offered. And then it reduces ostentatiousness, the lavish kind of lifestyle that washes down from the top. All of us, I don't know how, a 20-year-old boy whose father is a billionaire is already saying he wants to be richer than his dad. Now that has nothing to do with OBO. I mean, he's a musician, he could sing anything. But I'm telling you the trend in the minds of this, or the youth. It's not just the youth, so we just, we like to clobber the youth all the time. But most of us are also looking eagerly to that kind of life.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, because it's a heavily, severely, acutely monetized society where you have to have a stack somewhere in order to have rest of mind. And you cannot stop stacking.
It's 7 a.m. on Agidigbo 88.7 FM.
All right.
You can't stop stacking because you can only solve these problems with money.
So, Maestro, are you saying in essence that the lawmakers saying, we give you half of our salary for 6 months, is more or less, it is not what we are asking for.
It's a token.
Earn more. No, earn less. Not try to give us, as a philanthropy is saying, we are giving you this.
You shouldn't even be giving arms to anybody collectively. This is something people do individually. So if you want to give arms, because that's how I see it, do it in your individual capacity. This is showy. Okay,
like a show off.
We have collected the money, and so this is what we are going to do with it. Now, it's not ingratitude, but I'm just telling you perspectives about this thing.
All right.
So give the money. I will be the first to say, give it to the poorest of the poor in our society. Good, but do the right thing, because you should not be earning that much in the first place. I have seen Professor Adeyeye mount a chair in that same National Assembly, and he grabbed the microphone because they won't allow him to talk. They won't give you and he was shouting, "We are thieves. We are thieves. In this place, we are thieves." And he was saying that because he thought, how could we be earning this much? What are we doing to people? Then they punished him. He didn't return until later on. Then they returned him and they went on to Senate and so on. But he carries out his own philanthropy. He's from Osun State there. And he carries out his philanthropy with what he gets from there. He ensures that. And we know what he does. At least the last time I knew, he was still keenly pursuing, that philanthropic project of his own. without making noise, without shouting.
Okay, are you saying maybe what they did? Okay, you want to give people half of your salary. You can do it individually.
Go and do it
in your state.
This one, if you ask me, even if you don't ask me, I will still say it. This one that they are doing is part of the effort to douse tension against the protest.
How are they even going to share it? Who are they giving it to?
We don't know.
Wow.
There's no start anywhere to follow. So thank you for finding it in your heart to give to, human beings like you. But there's something greater than that. And that is, ask yourself, should you even be getting 100% of what you want to give 50% at all? What do you do that you're earning the kind of money that people who are running successful enterprises are earning? So if you want to quarter out the earning, hierarchies in this country, our politicians will be there. Now, with the level of complaints every day, with the frequency of our woes and tragedies and everything, which indicates that they are not performing well, why are you earning so well if you are not performing so well? Well, in Nigeria, you earn well if you're not performing well, because when people want to award contracts, they don't award to the best. They award to those they will share with. When you want to award marks, you award to students that you're familiar with for whatever reasons, and so on and so forth. The banks, what are the banks doing? But they're making the most money. So it's that kind of dysfunctional society that you will see all these things happening. They shouldn't be earning that much to start with.
All right then. Yesterday the labor unions, they sang a very different song. Enthusiastic. I know. And before we even talk about the minimum wage at all, I want us to see a clip of their reaction to what the president said yesterday after they agreed on what they agreed on. I mean, it feels different to hear from the labor union say that. Okay, let's just listen and watch. You can come down to our Facebook page at OGIDI IROYIN 887 FM to see what we're talking about, what the labor unions did yesterday after they got the 70,000 naira approval from the federal government.
Okay.
Nigeria, there is victory. Africa, Isoleto, Aluta, Continua, Victoria, Asata, Triposa to the president. Goza, Goza, in the struggle for Nigeria, there is Africa, Isoleto, Aluta, Continua, Victoria, Asata, Triposa to the president. Goza, Goza,
Three Goza for Mr. President. All right, now that is what happened yesterday after Mr. President said labor unions, yes, we are going to approve 70,000 naira for you. But then the news came out and then they said labor unions accepted with mixed feelings because of some things the president said, because of some of the clauses that were in the 70,000 naira, one of which is the fact that these will be reviewed every 3 years. Now, every 3 years, we are going to be talking about minimum wage, no longer 5 years, according to what the Mr. President said. And also, there is going to be Mr. President made a promise of incentives like the CNG, which will lessen the burden of Nigerian workers, and that will be that Mr. President promised to give 36 CNG powered buses with a seating capacity of 100 each to the TUC and NLC. And they said this is why they actually accepted Mr. President's offer. But yet, three busa for Mr. President. Maestro.
You know, I don't like talking about labor so much.
I know, but now seems like
And-
we are reaching a conclusion
and
with the matter.
I don't like saying "I told you so" much. And so I think you know we have said enough ahead of this day.
Coming from 250.
We have said enough ahead of this day. We have laid it bare for people who listen. You know, if you just don't make up your mind that, you know, I'm coming to the dailies, I'm coming to call in to say whatever I want to say or to write whatever I want to write so that Wura can read it. The truth is what we try at all times to present to our listeners, that this is how it is going to play out. And it almost always plays out like that. And if nobody is going to give us credit, I think we should give ourselves credit little.
No, Ali.
So nothing surprises me about these three bosses for the president. I've seen it before regularly. As a matter of fact, I'll give these people credit. You know, for coming out to even do the three bosses for the president. We have some of their predecessors who would do all these things in the dark.
Okay.
At least you could see that there is no mixed feelings in the three bosses. In
happily.
The gleeful atmosphere, you know, the throaty renditions of Isoleto, Africa, and so on and so forth. These are happy people.
They are happy.
These are happy people.
They are contented.
Why are they so happy? Because they wanted 250,000 and they got 70? Is that the reason they are so happy? No. That's not. You can't be happy if you are targeting 250 and you landed at 70.
With some incentives.
You can't be so happy. Look, what's the meaning of 1 CNG per state capital? You know, how would that, you know, really impact on the... But you see, I'm not even interested in tearing labor apart and so on. Because the key grouse, apart from the fact that labor leadership is as guilty as political
Someone
leadership.
Someone is giving you three bosses here because he said it.
Everybody. You see, but the point is, no, we've always said it. The point is, my grouse with labor, as is my grouse with the leadership of the media. I mean, serious media. I'm not talking about content creators. As is my leadership, my problem with the leadership in religious, and religious means everybody, you know, is that we are not, you know, pooling resources and applying collective energy to the, you know, to the fight for restructuring the country. Because everything you are saying on daily basis is inside there. And so if we could pool resources like that and not place our trust in those who are aspiring overtly, covertly to these juicy public offices, then maybe we can push it a little bit more. That's my grouse. And that labor is sincerely not seriously cerebral, you know, in their hierarchies. They should. Because everybody is given. If I'm not as given as I should be, I'll look for help. In leadership, people look for help. And if you look at this man who is president today, everything does not come from him. From the last time we knew, it's all about listening to, you know, people around him mostly and making up his mind what to do. Which is one of... So anybody in leadership could do that. You don't have to have it all. As labor leader, okay, everything that is in my mind is how I'm going to propel this place. No, you will fail. But if you, like they used to do when NLC moved before, you'll see Falana SAN here. You will see Beko here. You will see some other, you know, to add some integrity to your drive, to make people believe in your cause, but more importantly, to tap into their minds, their very rich minds, as a Falana SAN It wasn't SAN then. They refused to give him early enough because, okay, that's another story. The story of SAN in Nigeria. Maybe I'll tell you that story one day.
I'd love to hear it.
So I congratulate Labour. So now there is no strike again in the next 3 years.
In the next 3 years.
Okay, so all the problems that we were packing into the drive for this money before now, they fizzled away. That's why I wasn't interested. Because they were just picking everything they could and putting it in the same basket. What you wanted was more money.
And now they're cutting it.
Then you will now say electricity, and you are fighting for electricity. You are fighting for dollar exchange. You are fighting for petrol and pump price and everything. All those things are gone now, and now it's 3 bosses for the president now. So next time they now come, you expect me again to. So when you grab, just listen. Because if you don't listen, we will accommodate you.
All right. According to Mr. President, he said he had to urge a little bit forward to make the decision. And in his words, he said, it has been tough globally. And if you review my track record, I have never been found wanting in ameliorating the problems of workers. I belong to the people and all of you in leadership. Without you, this job is not interesting. You challenge the thinking faculty of leadership, and we have reviewed the position. I have consulted widely, and when the tripartite committee submitted a report, I reviewed them again, and I started to think and rethink. These, end of quote, and many other things are what Mr. President said yesterday.
You see, this moment, the truth, however, is that he's also had his problem with workers before. In Lagos State, during his governorship in Lagos State, I think it's his first time or second time, I can't recall clearly. And he had that, long run with Ayo Akele of blessed memory.
Is that the track record they said we should check?
Yeah, well, maybe. And but since then, we've not heard a lot of these things, right through his administration of 2 terms, his tenure. But that was, I think he must have found that tough. Ayo Akele gave him some,
trouble.
Some trouble in that period. There were strikes, there were this and that in Lagos. But since then, it's not been there because I think Lagos State government workers, I think they like where they are.
All right, we have to go pay some bills now. When we're back, we'll continue the conversation because we still have a lot of things to talk about. And that is talking about the education sector, the cut-off marks for universities, and also the age limit, or let me say, the entry age for students in universities. And also, we'll come down to Oyo State to talk about the Chieftaincy Gazette, where Oyo State is saying it was not targeted at a future Olubadan aspirant. We'll be back.
88.7 FM.
My country people, mama, papa and pikin, make una listen o. Cholera full town o, but make you no fear. Cholera na disease wey you fit prevent with better hygiene practice for your home. Just dey disinfect your floors, clothes and every corner for your yard with hypo bleach. And no forget to dey clean your toilets with hypo toilet cleaner. This way, you go protect your family and stop the spread of cholera.
My baby is 6 months old.
Oh my! 6 months old? Wow! Now your baby needs more than breast milk. It's time to introduce mashed meals. In addition to breast milk, begin to give your baby mashed meals that contain at least 1 item from each of these 5 food groups: eggs, fish or meat, fruits and vegetables, oils, beans, groundnuts, soya or millet, rice, potato, maize or yam. From 6 months. In addition to breast milk, your baby needs this combination of food types to grow healthy. This message is from the Anrin Project or your State Ministry of Health.
My son, help me check this phone. I no know wetin Junior press. E no dey work again.
Make I see. Ah, mommy.
Wetin happen?
They don't block your line now.
Nobody like to chop blocking, oh. So, if they don't block you unto say you not link your NIN to your Airtel line, run kitty go any Airtel shop with your NIN to unblock your line today.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Àtótó arére o gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọkùnrin tó ń tiraka láti dakọni ọkùnrin mẹ́ta nínú ilé tàbí níbikíbi lótìtọ́ ni pé ọkùnrin ogun kan ò sí tí ò bá lè ṣèṣe akọni lọ́dọ̀ olólùfẹ́ ó débẹ̀ herbal mixture ló nílò kó mú dán ìyàkànṣe egbòogi tá a gbé jáde pẹ̀lú ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n ewé àti egbò àbáláyé táwọn baba wa fi ń gbéra sọ pitú rẹpẹtẹ níjọ́ àná ó débẹ̀ herbal mixture ti gbàgbóró kan gbogbo ayé ló ti ń kó ní wìtìwìtì ìwọ náà mú kan lónìí kó gbẹlura kára ó le koko bí ọ̀tá wàá sì múnádóko débẹ̀ tàtẹ̀ kanlẹ̀ láti jẹ́ alágbàtà kẹ̀sì kó ní wìtìwìtì ẹ máa pe 091-6620-6959 tàbí 080-7051-7024 ó débẹ̀ herbal mixture ó máa gbé ẹ débẹ̀.
ọmọ mi ti pọ̀ṣù mẹ́fà ẹ bá mi dúpẹ́ oṣù mẹ́fà ẹ bá mi dúpẹ́.
ó ti yẹ pọ̀ṣù mẹ́fà nìyẹn. ọmọ ò máa ń pẹ́ dàgbà o. báyìí o ọmọ rẹ ti wá nílò ju omi ọyàn nìkan lọ o. àkókò ti tó láti máa fún un ní oúnjẹ fífọ́ ní àfikún sí ọyàn. rí i dájú pé àwọn oúnjẹ ọmọ rẹ ní ó kéré tán ọ̀kan lára àwọn oúnjẹ àfọ́pọ̀ márùn-ún wọ̀nyí: ẹyin, ẹja tàbí ẹran, èso àti ewébẹ̀, epo tàbí òróró, ẹ̀wà, ẹ̀pà tàbí sóyà, ìrẹsì, ọ̀dùnkún, àgbàdo tàbí iṣu. ọmọ rẹ bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti oṣù mẹ́fà nílò omi ọyàn àtàwọn oúnjẹ wọ̀nyí fún ìdàgbàsókè àti ìlera. máa fún wọn lọ́yàn títí yóò fi pé ọmọ ọdún méjì àti jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ.
ìkéde yìí wá láti àkànṣe irin iléeṣẹ́ tó ń mójútó ètò ìlera ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́.
You dey find ways to save your data? You go first start with your apps. Delete apps wey you no dey use but other things go still dey. Some apps get data saver modes, make you activate them to control the data usage. You fit also go your setting make you off the auto updates them. Then make you also close apps wey you no dey use to save your data when you no dey use your apps. This small change go fit help you save your data well. For more information, make you go your mobile operator website or consumer.ncc.gov.ng for better tips. Make we dey connect and enjoy our data use well. This message dey come from the Association of Licensed Telecom Operators wey join body with the Nigerian Communication Commission.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
All right, you're welcome back to the Daily. So this is Agidigbo. Of course, you can join us on our Facebook Live at Agidigbo 887 FM. Now let's go to the education sector. From the news we have yesterday, there was a meeting with stakeholders and also with a JAM. And two things came out. We are going to be looking at the two issues. Now they have approved 140. The total mark for JAM, the questions, I think they have 400. The total is 400. Now they have approved 140 as a cutoff mark for 2024 admission into the nation's universities and 100 for polytechnics and colleges of education, respectively. I am so pained. And also on the other side, we have, although they said we have some universities that they said, okay, their own is 200 and some they have less than 140. So what is going to happen now is that if you have less than 140 as your cutoff mark, that is not going to happen. You have to be on 140 for universities. And also, if you're at liberty to say, okay, it is 200 we want, as long as it is not less than 140. And also on the other side, we have the issue of age, where the minister yesterday, Tahir Rahman, the Minister of Education, said we should now take in students that are only 18 years of age. And that immediately caused uproar at the meeting, where the stakeholders, where we had vice chancellors, provost directors, and others saying, no, that is not going to happen. It took the intervention of the registrar of JAMB, that is Professor Loyede, to restore normalcy into the meeting yesterday. But first off, let us pick it up from the aspect of the cutoff mark. During my time, if you score 200 on dot, they'll be like, oh, you could have done better. I can remember clearly. I got 241. I cried my eyes out. And my tutors, they were laughing at me. Wow. With all your mouth, this is what you can do. And it took extra effort for me to focus on my post-UTME exam. And families were saying it is okay. Please don't do this. Like, no, 241. No, I have to do better. But now they are saying 140 for universities.
In my time, there is no, serious course. I'm sorry, that you could do with 250. 250 wasn't enough to get you the kind of course that you wanted that time. And so you had to go and retake.
Again, if you score less than that.
Had to. And that's what I call education. This 140 is to simply drive people into the school system. And some of them would not still get that 140. And they will still get inside the system. So this is easily answered by one of the statements I make frequently here, which is, why don't we go back to where we're coming from? When universities could say, this is who we want, and sorry, we don't want you.
You go.
This is where we are setting the bar. And if you meet it, you're in. If you don't, you're out. Why should it take external people to be determining these things? One minister of education that might or might not ever meet you again. Jam people who have no business really determining how universities should run their system. And so on and so forth. Don't we see how it's happening in other societies we call advanced? So why are we going in the opposite direction from those countries, those societies
that we so much admire?
Yet we want to be at the same place with them. Does it make sense? They are going to the west, we are going to the north, and we are aspiring to be where they are. It's not going to happen. So, because this is all political. So we have brought in politics into almost everything. So they used to talk about the North as being educationally disadvantaged.
We still have that.
Therefore, yes, it's just
where they get a lesser cut of marks.
It's a political narrative.
Wow.
Because if you really want the North, for all these years that we have been at it, if you truly want the North to cease to be educationally disadvantaged.
ELDS, educationally less disadvantaged states.
What you should have done is to expose the candidates to West, East, and everywhere else, so they begin to compete. Who brought the educational advantage from heaven? It wasn't even our language. Our language is not the language of instruction. Everybody came to this life and started learning it. So, but because they are not interested in the young people of the North, they are not interested in the children of the North. So they allow those children to roam the streets because of their own political benefits. But they don't allow their own children to roam the streets. Their children rather, paint the streets of world capital as red. Because of the affluence, because of what they benefit from here, they situate their kids in the best schools in the world, give them the best money could buy, and they keep calling the children of the North educationally disadvantaged. When you listen to some northern leaders talk, you will know that these ones got the best education money could get. And yet they will not replicate that down the line. Would you listen to, have you listened to SLS before? Emir Sanusi Lamidos, have you listened to him before?
When he talks.
That's
educationally less disadvantaged.
That's Queen's English.
Wow.
Queen's. English. And many of them are like that. You know, they are not largely exposed as he is. But where did you get your own that you ended up not becoming educationally disadvantaged, but millions of northern kids are classified as educationally disadvantaged? So I don't believe in all this nonsense. It's because they have politicized education. And you know what? We're also part of it because we like pointing fingers at the North a lot. We're also part of it. So I grew up knowing Professor Babs Fafunwa. Oh, may God grant him repose. That's all I heard. Professor Babs Fafunwa was all I heard growing up. It was when he was going to become Minister of Education that I suddenly knew Aliyu was part of his name. So we now started hearing Professor Babs Aliyu Fafunwa. I said, oh, okay. I never had his middle name before. Good. But the role he played was to upturn the entire education system that we had. And he was the one who brought 6334 around. There was nothing wrong with the education we will have this, the
structure.
It was fine. And it was turning out people like Professor Babs Fafunwa.
Maestro, what do you think will be the effect of this? Bringing the cut of mark down to as low as 140.
I don't want to discuss that with them. I want universities to be able to, for how long are we going to be asking for autonomy for everything?
So JAMB is not in the right position to peg
I want
and
JAMB
the Minister of Education.
Like yesterday.
Wow.
Scrapped. Because, see, what's the role of JAMB? Is it because lecturers, with all their knowledge could not
conduct
say, okay,
examinations,
come in or don't come in? So what is the meaning of JAMB? It is because they wanted to centralize this thing and make it as Nigerian as possible. And when it is Nigerian, it becomes corrupt. And you see, my idea of corruption is not just cash corruption, because cash corruption is just a small part of what is called corruption in this country. The parent corruption is there solidly to give birth to cash corruption. So when we come up with all these central agencies, it is corruption. It's corruption. And what you will notice immediately is that thing begins to deteriorate. It's supposed to make it improve, but it begins to deteriorate immediately. So, but you thank God for the likes of, Professor Oloyede, who a lot of people have given kudos, for being upright and so on. But is he going to be there forever?
Because in my head, the
we
question
had
is,
a long streak of corruption in that place.
It's been there.
When he came in, we suddenly started seeing money. And he said, this is your money, this is your money, this is your money. So what about when he's not there anymore? This is why I say, let us not look at these things from the viewpoint of individuals holding the place together for a moment. Because those individuals will go into retirement, into some other ventures, and what happens then?
All right. Maestro, the question in my head is, now we are bringing the cutoff mark, we are bringing it down. Does that mean that the quality of students that we have now, the scores they are getting, we've accepted that they do not have the capacity to score as they do before? The students are from way back, scoring that high, and then they still feel bad, and some even do that. I had a friend that scored 300 and still couldn't get into university for the course she wanted.
Yes, if the cutoff is high for a particular course.
And now you're saying 140.
Well, no, they have these, courses that they will pack people into. So ordinarily, even if you wanted to read Arabic studies, it shouldn't be 140. It should be higher. Because it's about what you have going in. So that you don't end up becoming something else in that place.
Okay.
When you get in there and you can't hold your own. Of course, you'll become a cultist now. You'll become a cultist or a terrorist or, an extremist they become a lot of things inside that place. But if you have what it takes, you go and face the business, and you will be happy facing the business because you're engaging. It's knowledge. It's about But what are you going to? The question I will ask you, Ura, is in my time, I said 250 plus would not even get you.
Yes, get you in.
Then you are saying your time 240 something didn't get you there. So now that they are talking about 140, what are they going to be talking about in 5 years' time?
Wow.
Maybe 100.
Wow.
Maybe 90. Because isn't it progressive?
Over 400.
Yeah, it's been happening. The generation is quite progressive. Therefore, you can easily, if you want to face facts, talk about what is going to happen in Nigeria 10 years from now.
Okay, before we talk about the age aspects, the Minister of Education saying 18 and then the stakeholders saying no, which they later pegged it at 16. Let's open the phone lines for people to join in the conversation right now. Even my studio manager said, ha. Okay, let's people in the conversation. Let them join the conversation and we'll keep talking about that. Let's listen to this.
Thank you for your attention. It's been lovely to have you keeping it locked on Agidigbo 88.7 FM. Now is the time to join in the conversation, to have the word, hear your voice, because we are the people's voice. Meanwhile, while you contribute to this program, kindly note that in accordance with broadcasting ethics, you are requested to keep your contributions modest, truthful, concise, and not offensive, inflammatory, or with tendencies to cause discomfort to anyone. Thank you. Now, let the conversation begin.
All right, 0704-1001-887. Hello, good morning. Oh, lost that call. 0704-1001-887 or +234-704-700-8873. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. My name is George Akube from Oluche Junction, LA in Ibadan.
All right,
quickly,
sir.
how I would like to talk about that of the education. I regret to announce to you that good and quality education is a corner in Nigeria with this new cutoff mark for JAMB. Now, the gospel truth is just that then we are now trying to encourage people that are not totally qualified into the educational system. People that are truly supposed to be, so sorry to use the word, mechanic, learn handwork and the likes in the society. Why must we force education on people? And so people out there are trying to give education for the Southwest. They are killing it for us. They just want to bring us down to their level. Good morning. God bless Agidigbo.
Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. All right. Now let us talk about the age aspect. Mr. Minister said 18 for anybody that will be coming into a tertiary institution. But the stakeholders said no. It will be 16, and yes, they picked it at 16.
So they are not advancing the reasons why they are saying 18 or 16. But I think this is not a fresh development.
Okay, Mr. Maman said the underage candidates said that the enrollment of underage candidates is inflicting serious damage on the university and the education system.
He is not definitive.
Hence, the need for enforcement of extant laws.
Listen, it's not definitive. And the reason it's not definitive is if you are going to say underage, what do you mean by underage? Underage
Not
because
18.
the Constitution puts the age at 18. But for education, what is underage in education? And when you see some of these advanced economies of the world, you see kids at tender ages already in universities because they are given. Some of them are precocious.
Yeah.
Some of them are just out of this world. They are geniuses. Therefore, you don't want to restrict those ones because you have some kind of line. So you run an education system that is open, to the advancement of any and everybody. That is one. The other thing I was telling you before is that it's a north-south thing. In the past, you had to be, I don't know what obtains now. In the north, you have to be 7 years before you start school. Here, people simply started school at age 5, 6, and so on. They started private schools.
When?
Way back.
They start from 2. Now you're in school.
No, I mean, that's not even the crèche. It's not the age of crèche. I'm talking about, maybe even 50s, 60s.
Okay, back then.
When you just needed to put your hand over your head here. And if it touches your ear, here you could
You're good to go.
You're good to go. So it's I think it's the same ethnic conversation that we've been having for a very long time. But don't forget, when it's education, the universities should be given the right, absolute rights to
decide.
To take in or not take in, to have their standards.
All right. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
Adenike Moses from Alaki area. For me, we are hearing where they are handing that's what some people like that. At least they are but now important. Hello.
Yes.
Our government they should look outside to the masses generally.
Okay. I'm so sorry, the reception is not quite good. If you can get to a better place, do well to call us back. So Lokwade says it is a good thing that the federal government and the NLC has finally reached a compromise. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brother, sister, my brother. That's true.
Good morning.
Well, we thank God that whether they are with consensus or whatever agreement they have, at least we want peace in the land. Because all these protests, all these problems with the labor will create more problems for Nigeria if they have to protest, if they have to strike. So now that they have resolved, government should do the needful and ensure that food prices come down, drug prices come down. People are dying. You see, and they should allow farmers access to their farm.
Okay.
They need to do this security. Let them do the needful. God bless you.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution. Shala Donya, this is helping us with the lyrics to that fella song you talked about. And also we have Raja Fiza Abidemi saying on the issue of minimum wage, kudos to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Labour leader at end. They agreed on the page and we need to give it to Edo State Governor Obaseki. He was the person who approved 70,000 naira. We want to urge other 35 governors to follow suit. God bless Nigeria. And we have this one from Imafo J. Peter saying, honestly, federal government and state governors can't afford this. Nigeria is too poor. Our mind should be fixated on reducing the cost of food, petrol and dollar rates. Petrol, that should be petrol. Not increasing the minimum wage. First thing first, reduce the allowances paid to politicians. Else, inflation will hit harder and most states will owe their workers for months. We have Adebayo Jobolauti saying on the House members' intention to cut their salaries by 50%. It is not enough for me. I would appreciate them if they could cut their allowances by half and do it throughout the period they would be in the house. All right, Shola Donyadis is saying, Baba Maestro, you said it all. 3 boosters to you, sir. That one is concerning the minimum wage. Alex Olajide says, an NLC and TUC are bought organs. Tinubu knows how to play his card around them. Money must have exchange hands. Of course, the 70,000 naira. I don't know what else you're saying. Stephen saying, Oluseyi says, the labor union does not have the heart of the masses at heart. They always go in the direction that will favor them. What about the hardship in the country? Did they do anything about it? I'm very sure that after accepting the minimum wage, things will still skyrocket. God will save our country. 0704 1001 887. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from.
Again, let me direct to my point. You see, important thing now, generally in Nigeria, the price of things is too much. Let make them find way. And the issue is that is the petrol issue cause all this problem we have. Only I don't know why our government don't want to go to where it's important to make people live easily. Make God help us. That's important. Any amount they are paid to work at, if there is no good agenda on our buy and selling, to make money be meaningful for our hand, that's not the solution. Budget will raise up very soon now. Hunger is too much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. We sincerely appreciate it. Adebayo Ojobolauti says, on court of marks that the jump is gradually reducing. This is what I make those seeking admission into various higher institutions not to be serious again, and would further lower the standard of education in Nigeria. Olagbe Ndia Ladejobi says, sir, you are a resource and an encouragement for aspiring analysts, sir. Please keep it up. 3 busas for you, sir. I think 3 busas is just flying around today. It said, sir, they reached a compromise. That is talking about NSC and TUC. That is what is important. Would you rather have them continue a battle that was obvious they couldn't have won? That is the reply. That's the reply to the person saying money must have exchanged hands. All right. Edulinks Academy says, why did the analyst say JAMB has no business with the university system? It said they should be able to decide the people they want to take in and those they do not want to take in.
Why should JAMB be? JAMB is like a second part or third party. And then when we talk like that, because we talk about another era when there was no JAMB, and it was a better time than this.
When comparing it.
Well, that's why we say these things. You know, and then what has JAMB done over the years? I mean, how would somebody want to go for an exam, you know, relatively a kid, and you say, leave your town, leave your state, go to maybe 4 or 5 states away to go and do what? To go do what? Why can't you do it where you are?
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Femi. I'm calling from General Gas.
All right, sir.
Regarding JAMB, I don't think it's an issue that we need to dissipate our energy upon. The reason being that at the end of the day, the schools are expected to do their post-UME screening.
Not all. Not all. Not all.
Most of the ones in the West here will definitely do their post-UME screening. So at the end of the day, you find out that most of the people who scored below 150 wouldn't get into the school after all.
All right, sir.
Now, having said that, the truth is that education standard has fallen so badly in Nigeria. What we have presently is just cramming knowledge, cramming education. We don't have an education that allows people to be able to think outside the box, to be able to connect what they learn in school with the reality in the outward there. And that's the reason why we have so many first class and no innovation. Nothing is being produced.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. We sincerely appreciate it.
You know, sincerely, it's another discussion entirely. We have been cramming. I crammed to no end. We have been cramming for a long time because that's another thing entirely. The kind of education system we inherited, you know, from the British, from the Americans, from everywhere. That's another matter. That's another discussion. You know, we're talking about, this is the context. Yes. It's because they are practically begging some people in parts of the country to go to school. Why people are scrambling in other parts of the country. Now the situation has changed. That's why I said it's another matter entirely. If you go to the East today, the girls are going to school. They are getting to master's, PhD. The boys are trading. The boys are trading. They are selling, buying and selling and so on.
All right. Let's go pay some bills now. When we're back, we'll continue the conversation in the studio. We'll be back.
88.7 FM.
Babies are God's gifts to parents, and breast milk is God's gift to babies. It contains all the important nutrients and minerals your baby needs, including water, for the first 6 months. Give your baby breast milk only. Remember, breast milk only for the first 6 months. This message is from the Anrin Project or your State Ministry of Health.
ìrìn àjò lọ sílẹ̀ mímọ́ mẹ́kà ò kéré ní jẹ́ gbogbo ẹni tó bá fẹ́ lọ wá ilé iṣẹ́ gidi tí ò ní kó wọn sí wàhálà tí ò ní dé mọ́kà tán kí wọ́n da nílẹ̀ láì bìkítà àti ṣiṣẹ́ tó bá lọ. gbogbo ẹni tó bá wá ń gbìyànjú àti lọ sílẹ̀ mímọ́ mẹ́kà fún umra October sí November tó ń bọ̀ yìí. ajé ní ènìyàn lè ṣe kan. Masha Allah ajá umra service ní kẹ́ ẹ bá lọ. sísanwó wọn ògúnpá ilégbè wọn ní mọ́kà ìrọ̀rùn ló bá dé. gbogbo ẹni tó bá wọn lọ. gbogbo ètò ló sì ti tò láì sí wàhálà. gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ nífẹ̀ẹ́ àti bá wọn rìnrìn àjò umra October sí November tó ń bọ̀ yìí. àrà ọ̀tọ̀ ni wọ́n múra yìí jẹ́ o pẹ̀lú àkànṣe àdúrà tí lè ṣe Masha Allah ajá umra ṣàgbékalẹ̀ rẹ̀ tí gbogbo ẹni tí wọ́n bá jọ lóòjọ́ sí kíkún lóhùn pẹ̀lú ìgbàgbọ́ pé àdúrà mi ó gbà. ìyẹn ní umra fún gbogbo ẹni tó bá fẹ́ bá wọn lọ.
ẹ lè kàn sí wọn ní shop b3 alaka junction ayégun ọ̀lẹ́yọ̀ road ní garage Ìbàdàn tàbí ká ẹ pè sórí nọ́mbà yìí 07037417353 tàbí 07064274181. Masha Allah iléeṣẹ́ alálàájì rọrùn.
Big mommy, add that bokoto wey go senior school. Put 2 roundabout. Anoint the package with that slim thick shaki and
Uncle, no vex o. Which teeth you wan use eat all this orishi? That your teeth wey be like where motor jam truck. E no dey worry you again.
That one na before. All thanks to the new Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection.
That's right. The new Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection toothpaste gives you complete oral protection with fluoride and antibacterial zinc to keep your teeth strong, prevent tooth holes, and fight bacteria.
You sef dey go buy my own new Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection toothpaste.
Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection for your important oral care needs. Available in a blue gel.
I am pregnant. It is important for me to take care of myself and stay healthy.
To be strong and have a healthy pregnancy, take iron and folic acid tablets every day when you're pregnant. This prevents anemia and helps maintain a healthy pregnancy. Visit your healthcare provider for regular antenatal care. This message is from the Anrin Project or your State Ministry of Health.
Fellow Nigerians, mommies, daddies, and children, please listen. It's no longer news that there's cholera outbreak, but don't worry. Cholera is highly preventable with good hygiene practice in the home. Ensure you disinfect your floors, clothes, and surfaces with Hypo bleach. And always remember to care for your toilets with Hypo toilet cleaner. This way, you'll protect your family and stop the spread of cholera.
láti dènà àrùn ìgbẹ́ gbuuru àti àrùn mìíràn pàápàá nínú àwọn ọmọdé fọ ọwọ́ rẹ pẹ̀lú ọṣẹ àtomi tó ń dà ṣooro ní pàtàkì jùlọ tó o bá lo ilé ìgbọ̀nsẹ̀ tán lẹ́yìn tó o bá ti ṣàǹdí fọ́mọ tán kó o tó ṣe oúnjẹ ọmọ rẹ tàbí kó o tó fún un lóúnjẹ àti pé o tí ọmọ rẹ bá ní àìsàn ìgbẹ́ gbuuru fún un ní oògùn oníwóró zinc lẹ́ẹ̀kan lójúmọ́ àti ORS ní wákàtí mẹ́rin tàbí kí ẹ máa fún díẹ̀díẹ̀ nínú ife èyí á jẹ́ kọ́mọ rẹ lè ní ìdápadà omi ara àtokún. bákan náà yọjú sílé iṣẹ́ ètò ìlera tó bá súnmọ́ ọ jùlọ láti gba ìtọ́jú fọ́mọ tó ní àìsàn ìgbẹ́ gbuuru.
ìkéde yìí wá láti àkànṣe Anrin iléeṣẹ́ tó ń mójútó ètò ìlera ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
All right. Alex Olajide says, jump 18 years entry age into our universities is a good thing to our educational system. Let the students have 2 years compulsory technical education before being admitted at age 18 or 19. Now, this is what is practiced in the Western world today.
It's not true. That's not true.
All right.
Don't
we
give
have
us that kind of information.
we
It's
have
false.
Edulinks saying, I learned that Sanusi went to King's and Queen's School, Lagos. All right, Comrade Ayonela saying protest is legitimate. The current president and his supporters also led protests and nobody harassed them. The federal government refused to address the root cause of hardship, which is removal of subsidy. Those condemning the planned protest want suffering Nigerians to remain in slavery while they are enjoying themselves. It won't work.
I don't know who is saying anything against protests. We are just defining everything.
I know. I'm definitely sure it's not.
And you know that protests are going to be met at some point with government agencies.
Sure.
Even in the United States of America, they arrested people who are doing Black Lives Matter. We saw it. It's not, in Kenya right now.
Yes, the police.
They've opened fire now, so they I mean, if it goes on forever, at some point, it's going to
Yes.
be taken care of.
Yes.
Because you can't kill the country.
All right.
at
Ishola
some point.
Olasunmade says, I dare say that there will be a lot of 16-year-olds flawed in our universities without any contact. They've always been there, sir.
16-year-olds, where are these people?
They've always been
are
there.
you from the moon?
Ajisola Sanusi says, centralizing is the number one problem that serves as a cog in the wheel to the progress of this nation. That is on the issue of JAMB. I'm morning to you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from.
Oluwatosin is my name. I'm calling you right here from Bashan.
All right, sir. Your contribution.
I greet you all in the studio. I greet you, Maestro. I greet you, the presenter. So I just want to make the contribution concerning the honorables that they said they will be slashing their salary. The question me I'll be asking is that if they slash their salary, will they also slash their allowance? Because that salary is a deception. Telling us to slash their salary in the suit, I think it's a deception because even their bonuses are even more than the main basic salary. Thank you. Oluwatosin is my name from Bashan.
All right, thank you so much. Ayuba Mojonyolua says, I agree that JAM should be scrapped. I remember scoring 217 in JAM and cried like my life was in ruin. But today, candidates celebrate 201 like they've won the World Cup. The degeneration is appalling, and I hope something is being done quickly before it gets worse than it is. You see, JAM has always made people cry. I know what I'm saying. Oladi Itokwe said, a salary increase will just make life difficult for Nigerians. You will see it. I think this year's JAM by UTME, a student, I asked you, what did you score? And then he sends me a screenshot of 120 something. And seeing him in real, he wasn't acting as if, okay, maybe something happened that is wrong. I was like, wow.
It's another moment in our lives,
Oh, good.
People don't care so much anymore.
Oh, good. All right. 0704-1001-887 or +234 704 700-8873. Engineer Salafi, be calm. Or your speaker, right now I'm talking about the issue of chieftaincy gazette in Oyo State. And we have this news saying the Oyo State government has denied rumors of any plan to obstruct or hinder anyone's ambition to become the next Olubadan. Saying what we said concerning the fact that the new declaration passed by the State House of Assembly and signed into law was inserted. Okay, that one that was inserted in the program distributed at the ceremony is saying that by the rotational setting of the Olubadan chieftaincy arrangement. All right. They said the Olubadan chieftaincy declaration targeted the aspiration of the present Otun Olubadan. That is, they said according to rumors, that is what people are saying. That is targeted at the Otun Olubadan, that is High Chief Rashidi Ladoja, especially as it was made public at the coronation. But he said that is not the issue right now. That is not what they are saying.
Well, whatever it is, we know that, like I said, powers will behave like powers. But there is a higher power which we cannot predict its hand. The fingers of fate, act beyond our knowledge. And who is going to be around and who is not going to be around, and how things are going to take place. What old person will spend another 10, 15 years, which one will not. We don't know these things. So whatever our permutations, our machinations are, is restricted to the human scope. And finally, the ultimate force is up there looking down at all of us.
All right. Okay, your parting shot, Maestro. Quickly.
That's my parting shot.
Oh, that's it. Okay, then. My name is Wura Ola Yusuf, and then I'll be seeing you next week again to talk about our dear nation, Nigeria, because I think I'm about to be chased out of the studio right now. I'll see you next week, and please do enjoy your weekend, because Monday will be here in about 2 minutes. Bye.
88.7 FM.
The views expressed by the guests and participants